Hello, welcome to another video, and this one's a quick one just to give a simple idea for workouts if you're stuck at home. Another lockdown here in Melbourne for the 6th time, so if you're lacking equipment, you can have a real good fun if you've got a couple of kettlebells. And I'm going to show you how you could get a really tough endurance workout, strength endurance workout in a real short amount of time. Alright, so this first exercise, most people are very familiar with the kettlebell swing. So you don't need if you don't have a heavy kettlebell, you can really get a lot out of this by using high repetitions. It'll actually create a bit of a fitness feel to it. So this is obviously in slow motion, but the technique of the swing is really the same as the Romanian deadlift. And you'll see here when Melissa's bent over, just so you get your technique down pat, straight sort of through the shin, and you're really hinging through the hip. And then it's an explosion forward through the glutes there. I prefer to finish at that point there, so the arms are straight. I don't like to come right up overhead. I prefer this is a better alternative for to get the most out of it. So, I'd aim for something like 30 reps or something. This is the kettlebell she's using, 16 kilos. So, if you're maybe a bloke, you might, depending on what you've got as well. So if you've got a lighter kettlebell, maybe do some more reps. If you've got a heavier one, 15 might be enough. All right, but then basically you try to do this like a circuit. So once you've done your kettlebell swings with 2 hands, so that's the first one, then you can move into a different sort of a feel. You could always add, by the way, you could always add lunges and push-ups and stuff in between as well. But if we were just using some kettlebells and keeping it to a real simple handful of exercises, this workout could take you as little as 10 minutes, and depending on how many sets you wanted to do, could half an hour, but you wouldn't really need more longer than that. So after you've done your kettlebell swing, you move into the overhead press. So again, you could do 2-hand overhead press to save time. If you didn't have 2 kettlebells of the same weight, like in this case, we're just sort of assuming that you only had 1 kettlebell. This one's an 8 kilo, so it's half the size of the swing. Obviously, it's a lot harder if you exercise, so you wouldn't aim for 30 reps like the swing, but aim for this one overhead press with good control. There's you get your breath back, different sort of a feel. Obviously, it's going to annihilate the shoulders. Now, if your kettlebell's a bit heavy, you might want to use 2 hands to push it up, or you could even use a squat press, as I'll show you in a second. I'll just speed it up a bit. So Melissa here is saying, let's assume the kettlebell's too heavy. She'll use 2 hands on the concentric part, and then on the eccentric part, where she's stronger, she can lower it with 1. All right, and then like I said before, you could, other alternative is maybe use your legs and bounce it up there. So you use the strength of the legs to help the arm. All right, so it's a way around if you're limited with variations of kettlebells, if you don't have many versions of them that you can use. All right, so once you've done your overhead, so you've done your swings on the first go for 30, you might aim for 10 on each side of the overhead press. Then you can move into the next exercise, where we're going to do some farmer's walks. Now, you might have dumbbells, you might use the 2 kettlebells you already have. You just be a bit creative. You can really just find something heavy to walk with. Aim for about a 50-metre distance. So in this case, I've got our gym door closed, so it's not 50 metres, but this would be up and back would be probably close to about 30 metres all up. It's about 15 metres to the one end of the gym to the other. So you aim for something like 50 metres. She's holding 2 16-kilo kettlebells. All right, so you can really sort of do something quite different with this. You could use dumbbells if you only had dumbbells as well. All right, so just something a bit different that you can work with, and again using it like a circuit, so with no rest in between any of the sets. So now once you've done up and back with that, so that applies a lot of grip strength in that exercise. Now we're going to a real complicated one, being the Turkish Get Up. All right, so you're going to, again, most people would need quite a light one. Now let's say, for example, you struggle to stand up because the lunge part at the end is difficult. You could just do the first half of it. So Melissa here is just going to show you that she's just going to do the first half. All right, and this is a very complicated core exercise. So if you're strong enough, you could stand up from here. If not, you just go back down the way you came, and you could do more reps like this. This is really good core training, just doing this first half of the get up. All right, and then you would obviously do a left hand and a right hand 2 reps of each would be enough. Sometimes only 1 might be enough. You don't really need 10 reps of that. Now we'll come back to the swing again. This time we'll complicate it and we'll do it with one hand. So we sort of started with the swing, and then towards the end of it you can finish with it. So then you see how she goes from left hand to right hand. It's a little bit more complicated, need a little bit more strength. It's really the strength comes through the legs, not the arm. So the momentum is from that real hip thrust there, where the glutes snap through. All right, so again, very, very exhausting, very, very tiring, especially when it's done in a circuit format like we've been showing you here. The last one we'll go back to is like the suitcase carry, which is similar to the farmer's walk, but this time it's with one arm. And it's obviously lighter, but it's a lot more complicated, especially for the core and the glutes. So if you have like a favoured side, like a weakened leg, you'll really notice the difference in applying this sort of a feel to it. So again, you can sort of see how all of this can get quite exhausting and tiring. So the heavier your kettlebell here, the more effective this exercise will be. But if you don't have a super heavy one, just walk for further distance. So like I said before with the farmers walk, 50 metres, you could go 50 up with the right hand, 50 back with the left hand. And and your grip strength will improve, but also your core strength and your glute and hip control of walking through with the suitcase carry. All right, so that gives you a few ideas of your kettlebell workout, and that's something you can get stuck into at home if you've got limited equipment. And trust me, you'll really notice the effect of it after about 10 or 15 minutes. All right, I hope it gives you some ideas, and we'll see you on the next video.